Hi. I look at each part of us human beings as a piece of the puzzle that God has put into us. Pieces of the puzzle that make us who we are. There's one part of the most every human being that I call the drive to be good. I think that's a piece in each one of us, I think anyway. And it may be one of the pieces that kind of has helped us not blow each other up, do away with each other, destroying each other over the centuries. It's a piece that we need to situate well in our lives, however, so will benefit ourselves and others. If we don't do that, we run into problems with that drive to be good. Now, that's kind of a generic title I came up with, the drive to be good. There's lots of other ways to talk about it. People come to me in counseling and in spiritual direction, and they basically ask for, how do I be good? Now, they usually don't say it that way, of course. That's a generic thing. But there are many ways of asking that question. And some of those ways include, how do I know I'm doing God's will? Or how do I be a good parent, a good person, a good citizen, a good employee, a good boss? Or how do I become less selfish, less attached to my possessions? Or how can I be more efficient at my job? Or how can I communicate better with my spouse? How do I balance work and family? How do I succeed in life? How do I become holy? Those are all questions that reflect, that drive to be good. And it reflects the goodness that's mentioned in the book of Genesis in the Bible. When God created human beings and all of creation, of course, God said, it is good. The rich young man in Mark's gospel asked Jesus a similar question, one of those how to be good questions, when he said, what must I do to inherit the kingdom of heaven? That idea, that drive to, well, I want to be good. I want to go somewhere. I want to succeed, or whatever you might call that. Now, that drive to be good, at least a drive to be better, I think is responsible for all human achievements across the board. All the achievements, all the growth, all accomplishments. Whether we're talking about technological achievements or being more moral people or spiritually more mature or growing in our racial and social peaceful coexistence, all those things. All those things happen because people want to be better. It helps us keep us from being stagnant and complacent by our recognizing that there's something more out there than who we are right now or what we see at the moment. Kind of moves us off the center, that drive to be good. That sounds pretty good, of course, but like every other part of our human makeup, that drive to be good is only going to help us if we situate it properly in our lives, if we fit that puzzle piece in a place where it fits well. Otherwise, it causes us problems. For example, one problem we run into, we might want to strive to be good, but we might limit it to only one small area which benefits mainly ourselves, like making my first $1 million. We can become very good at making money or climbing the social ladder. But if that isn't combined with growing in or getting better at compassion and charity and respect for others, it's not going to do any good. It's going to cause problems. It's going to cause harm. We see the negative results of people doing that in the vast inequality between the rich and the poor today. People striving to be good, but to be rich for themselves. Now, a different kind of danger related to the drive to be good is the desire to, quote, get there. There meaning good. This has to do with the illusion that there's some specific place to get to where we will finally be good. So the person who reaches the goal of $1 million decides that once they make that money, decides that that's not good enough because there's another $1 million out there to make. And so when is enough enough? In that sense, being good, trying to get to someplace being good, will be forever out of reach because there's always more money to make. And we can waste our time running after an illusion, running out after trying to be at a place that doesn't exist. And religions can run into similar problems. Some religious traditions will very clearly outline when a person has arrived at being good or holy or whatever term you want to use. For example, a religion might tell its members that, well, you're good when you say all these prayers, or you believe this set of religious laws, or this interpretation of Scripture, or you give this much money to charity or the church, or you have these political views. In that sense, once you've arrived, once you've done all those things, supposedly, you are good. And there's no need to go beyond that. So in those situations, people tend to stay frozen at that level of understanding and spiritual maturity. I've done what I'm supposed to. That's what makes me good. Don't have to go anyplace else. The rich young man in the gospel that I mentioned had that problem. He thought he had done all that his religion required by keeping the commandments since he was young. He was good, right? But he couldn't accept Jesus' invitation to something more. He was frozen. He was stuck. He could not follow Jesus. There are ways to keep from letting that drive to be good do awful things, to avoid those dangers. One thing that helps is for us to cultivate a healthy humility. This means, reminding myself that my knowledge, my perceptions, my understanding is limited and incomplete. I don't know it all. This includes how I look at my religious tradition, God, my political persuasion, my political party, and any other human endeavor I want to consider. Knowing that I don't know it all, even though I might belong to the right religion or the political party or whatever, and they don't know it all either. Knowing that I don't know it all, that there's something beyond me, can help me avoid condescension, exclusivity, complacency, and stagnation. Also helpful is a healthy sense of curiosity regarding what is new or different, what doesn't quite fit into my worldview. That curiosity can help us grow by prompting us to entertain new possibilities. What's out there? What is it that I may not be aware of? Or a new way of looking at things? It draws us forward. It draws us on farther than where we are now. But as with everything, we have to be honest with ourselves and continually ask ourselves the question, am I doing this, that drive to be good or my drive to get better at something? Am I doing it simply for myself or for others also? We have to be brutally honest with ourselves to answer that question. Our built-in human drive to be good can be the driving force in helping us be who we were created to be, but only if we direct and manage it well.